All right, on today's video, Sean is going to give us the key to the golf swing. All right, Sean, Ian Nicole sent us a great question. He wants to know how he can stop cupping his left wrist at the top. So be flat, he's getting a left wrist cup at the top.
This would be the kind of the flattish. Okay, so for ease of discussion, we're going to assume that he has a neutral grip.
Okay.
Because we know, depending on the grip, that can change how it can be at the top of the swing.
Ian, I hope you've looked at the grip video. We'll put a link above it. That's
Go
the first
watch the
place
grip
to start.
video and make yourself a stock grip on the golf club. Now, to take out the cup, so let's say at the top of the swing, you've cupped your left wrist, which normally would get the right one kind of flat, and most likely the face is really open and cause some severe problems in the downswing. To get some of that out, what you need to do is, on the backswing, feel like you give a little bit of a twist to the club in this direction. So a little bit of a motorcycle.
Reverse motorcycle.
Reverse motorcycle.
Yeah,
reverse motorcycle. And if you do that, by the time your left arm kind of gets parallel to the ground, if you do it correctly, it'll already be pretty flat and the right wrist will be bent. So I think a lot of people don't understand that there needs to be a little bit of that. Part of the reason it'll flatten also is just getting the club to swing and the mass of the club kind of swinging back here on a plane. We'll do some of that for free.
So one caution for that is we see a lot of golfers trying that. Do that same thing you just did.
Yeah.
So you're trying to give it a little reverse motorcycle here. A lot of golfers will flatten the club, get way behind them, then they get up here, and it almost forces them to do it. So you want to make sure that club's pitching up on a nice angle.
Yeah.
So if it's coming out, you're somewhere pointing around the golf ball.
And this brings me to the thought that, okay, what a lot of players do, if they think a little bit is good, they think a lot is better, just like everybody does with every part of the swing. So what they'll start doing is over twisting it here. And because they're so over twisted, they almost reach the max of what their wrist can do in a flexion orientation, that they'll bounce out of it and then they're right back to where they started. So I would say for the backswing, for you guys that cup it, take some practice swings where you start with the club in front of you here. Even give it a little momentum forward so you can figure out how to swing it back. Because I think a lot of times if they get going like this and almost pulling the grip too much, they never figure out how to get it out of there. But so get the club swinging in this direction, set it about halfway back, and make sure it's pretty flat right here. From there, just a little more turn and a little more arm lift, and you got yourself a really good backswing.
Pretty stout backswing.
So yeah, I think that's a great way to start to get it flat.
And another issue, another cause that we see that you could, how to stop doing it would be, we see this more probably with the older set of golfers.
Yeah.
Which I'm making a beeline for, is the swing is already a little shorter. So to get a little more backswing, you kind of just flop. Let the grip loosen up a little bit and just flop the club back. Now you've got this kind of cup and the club's really loose at the top. The response from that is to snatch the club. You've got the cup coming down, which is the whole issue with cupped wrist anyway, is that you're going to have a cup coming down.
Yeah, massively open club face.
Yeah, which is an open club face. So to get golfers out of doing this, this kind of loose grip at the top where the club just flops around, you've got to do, again, go back to the grip video. You've got to make sure there's some structure in that grip.
Absolutely.
And what you're actually showing them to do is that reverse motorcycle really helps put some structure in there.
Absolutely.
And you can even set a golf tee kind of right in here. If you make a golf swing and that tee falls out, you know this is your culprit.
Yeah.
The bouncing around.
You could also put one or a coin between your right palm and your left thumb and make sure you keep that kind of secure too, because if that comes loose, it tends to twist the face as well. So
a lot of golfers re-grip it at the top.
Absolutely.
This kind of holding a bird or a tube of toothpaste, and then all of a sudden you're trying to generate speed, so you kind of re-grip the club, and that's a big reason for a lot of goofy wrist angles at the top.
And the last one that I just thought of, that I work on this a lot with people, is there's a point where if you keep your wrist in this orientation where you kind of twist it a little and you're basically flat, you run out of range of motion, which is actually a good thing, because what happens is if you try to make a longer backswing just with the wrist, you tend to cup it. So a lot of the people that I help with this problem, I have them feel like they point their thumbs more to the sky Because if you point your thumb, a lot of people try to point the thumbs at the target. They've been taught that. That really overcups
Yes.
the wrist. Too much wrist cock leads to the face opening and the cup wrist. So if you still, after you try a couple of these ideas, still struggle, feel like you point your thumbs to the sky at a slight angle, like the plane of the club. And if you do that, it'll take out some of this extra set.
Yeah, and don't go out and just try to bang drivers the first time you do this. Get
Yeah.
your lob wedge, make little 40, 50-yard shots where you're feeling this without all the external forces
Yeah,
causing you to
swing.
get back into old habits. Start with a shorter swing, a slower swing, and build up to a full swing. And you'll start to really feel these differences once you get control of what this is doing, and then it'll really shore up what the club head's doing.
Beautiful. So let us know how it goes after you try some of these ideas. If you have the feeling of more of a sloppy action here at the top of the swing and the club gets loose, send us your video. We always love to look at videos to help you guys out. If you haven't already, click the big subscribe button below, and we'll see you in the next video.